Now, welcome back to the Between the Stripes League of Ireland Life Stories series. Apologies for the lack of episodes in recent weeks, but we're going to fire them out thick and fast over the next while. And I'm delighted today to be joined by Conor Keeley, once of Shelbourne and Cabinteely in the League of Ireland, and now playing for Ballymena United in the Northern Irish Premiership. So we're going to be speaking to him about his transition to life in Northern Irish football. Conor, how are you doing?
Great, Kieran. Thanks very much for having me on.
As I said, Conor, you started out with Shelbourne, so I suppose we'll start there. You were there when Johnny Mack was the boss, and it was him that gave you your first chance in the League of Ireland. So tell us about those early days at Shelbourne.
Yeah, I think I was still kind of transitioning into the 19s football, the League of Ireland, and Johnny Mack was just there, and he just left. I trained with him a few times. Obviously, I never played under him. I only trained with him.
He had you on the bench a few times, I think, didn't he? First,
then it made me debut when Kev Doherty and Johnny Martin were in charge. I was training with them most of the time, a lot more than when Johnny Mack was there. So now it was really good days there. I played a lot of 19s football. Played, I think, 11 or 12 times for the senior team at Shells, and I really enjoyed it. And it was a good stepping stone into senior football, and it's what started my career in the first division.
Yeah, I was just going to say that must have been a good foundation for you, because obviously Shells, they were struggling at the time, but a big club, and you had that little bit of a time with Johnny Mack, who's got a lot of experience in the league, and then the two coaches you just mentioned there. Any player I speak to, whether it's at a current club or a club they were at previously, they always speak so highly of Kevin Doherty and of Johnny Martin. So to be learning off those two lads, it was a good foundation for you in the League of Ireland.
Yeah, of course. I was still keeping contact with them now. They're two great lads. I know obviously Johnny's with Longford. They had a great season, and Kev won the league with Drogheda, and two men that deserved that completely. They were brilliant with me, and I couldn't speak highly enough of them.
And tell us then, how did the move to Cabinteely come about?
It was funny. I've said this before. I was him and Han on whether to continue playing football. I was just finished the leaving cert, and I was looking to go into college, and I wasn't really motivated to play football after what happened with Shells and not playing. And then I got a call coming out of work one day from Eddie Gormley from Cabo, and he just said, look, we'd love to have you down. And obviously Darragh was there at the time, Darragh Doyle as well. So I met them too, and they talked me through what they want to do, what our plans and stuff. And I just said, yeah, let's see how it goes. They said to me, look, you're going to play football. It's going to be first division football. And I said, as long as I get chances to play, I'll sign, no problem at all. And I had 4 good years there, so it was a good decision at the time, and the one that I'm delighted that I made.
Yeah, I think you played over 75 games or so at Cabinteely, if I'm not wrong. As you said, you played maybe 10 or 15 games at Shelbourne. So you're closing in on 100 League of Ireland First Division appearances there before you moved out of the league. So again, for a young player, that was invaluable experience for you.
Yeah, of course. And it could have been over 100 appearances, but I got injured, 2 serious enough injuries that kept me out for a prolonged period of time. So look, it was a valuable experience, and to play again nearly 100 games. And just turned 23 in December. So look, it's experience that will stand to me now in the future.
And you formed a great partnership with Jack Chute at the back at Cabinteely. Tell us about Jack, because he obviously went on to win the league with Drogheda this season, but that was a really impressive partnership. Something of a no-nonsense, a bit of a throwback to the two centre-halves that just love to defend.
Yeah, no, Chute, he's a good lad. He'll love the confidence going to give him here, but he's brilliant. He came back from England. He had a bit of a tough time. He was at Loam, and it's a funny story. Actually, he took my place at Shells when he signed for them. So he's the one that kind of got me kicked out of Shells a little bit. But now he's a good lad. He obviously came back from Derby. He came to us then, and he was brilliant. I knew him from schoolboy football as well when he was with Cherry Orchard and I was playing with Shells. So now it was a good partnership from a lad that I knew for a long time.
I suppose you could describe a lot of that Cabinteely team as you played with, kind of no-nonsense, really well organised, maybe not the most flashy of sides, but got the job done and really overachieved for a number of seasons, got into the playoffs for the first time in their history the season before last. I know things maybe declined slightly last season, but overall for a club that's only been in the league for a short time, they've achieved an awful lot.
Yeah, I think, look, we reached a limit that nobody would have expected us to. in the pre-season, you'd always see the reports of the predicted tables, and people always have Cabin Keeley at 8th or 9th. And for us to finish, I think it was 4th that year. I think we're only a point off Longford and Drogheda. That was unbelievable. But it was something we deserved. Again, as you said, we weren't the most flash side to watch. We probably weren't the best side to watch at times, but we were there to get a job done, and that's what we did. And a lot of teams came to the conclusion that they didn't like playing against us. Yeah. We made it tough, and we dug our results. That's how we set up, and it worked out well for us.
And again, for a young player like yourself, to see someone like Kieran Marty Waters then arriving to the club, that must have been brilliant for you to have somebody in the dressing room, so much experience at the top level, at a European level as well, to have him in the dressing room and learn off him. Yeah,
no, look, Marty's he's a smashing lad. I always say he's a good footballer, but outside that, he's an even better person. He's the experience he brings on and off the pitch to any player, especially me. When I was younger as well, I was only 20 years of age when I met him. No, he was brilliant with me on and off the pitch, and obviously I don't know how many goals he had for the club, but he's one of the ones. Him and Rob Manny were the two standout lads that got us to where we were.
Yeah, and off the field, Cabinteely, as I said, they've overachieved on it really, but off the field they have their 5-year plan, and I know, look, COVID is obviously probably going to set that back, but do you feel it's a club that is going places, going in the right direction?
Yeah, look, it's hard to tell now. If you had asked me that before last March, I would have said yeah, 100%. They could have kicked on with a lot of things. You could have had lots of sponsors and people coming in. You had a lot of support from the councils down in South Dublin for them, but it's like everything these days. You can't predict anything these days. Everything is just so uncertain. I'd love to see them do well. I've not a bad word to say about anybody in that club. Everyone treated me well over the 4 years that I was there. But now, look, it's hard to tell. I'd like to see them push on and hopefully get a ground of their own, a training ground of their own.
I was just going to say that it is getting back to Cabinteely and maybe planting their roots there. Is that key for their success going forward?
Exactly, because again, Kieran, it's so tough playing on that pitch, and even with training, sometimes we were told on the night of training, you go up there, that you'd have to train on the side of the pitch. You're not allowed to train on the pitch, and it's just a mess. And that's the one thing they need to do. If once they get their own ground, stadium and training grounds, I think that's the foundation that they need, and they can kick on from there then.
Yeah, I'll not mention the pitch because I've gotten enough trouble down the years mentioning that pitch.
Yeah, I've had to play on it the last 4 years.
Look, moving on, you've moved up to Ballymena. You're working under a hugely experienced manager there, David Jeffries. I can't even remember how many trophies he's won. It's double-digit stuff. It's legendary stuff in the Northern Irish Premiership. So what's it like working under him?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I've only been in since January, just after they've had their break from COVID. It's been brilliant. It's the professionalism around the club. It's only a part-time club. We only train twice a week, but the professionalism from the coaching staff to the players, it's been brilliant, and it's such a high standard. It's a lot more than what I expected. And now hopefully now we can finish out the season and get as many games as possible in before the end of the season, and hopefully climb that table.
Yeah, I suppose we've become accustomed down the years of seeing players from the Northern Irish League come down to the League of Ireland. But in the last number of years, there's been more of a trend the other way. We're seeing a lot of particularly younger players like yourself making the move up to the Northern Irish Premiership. Yeah. And I know you played Glenavon recently. Obviously, Conan Byrne was on the bench there. I think Craig Hyland was on the bench shortly after signing, former goalie with Longford as well. And there's loads of former League of Ireland players dotted around the Northern Irish Premiership at the moment. So what's it like coming up against those boys?
Yeah, look, it was good seeing familiar faces. I'm up in Ballymena with myself. I'm the only lad from the Republic up there. But it's good to see, because in a way, when you're talking to those lads, it's the certainty of playing football now, because with the League of Ireland, it was a bit tough not knowing when it was going to be back. So I think that's why you've seen a lot of the Leinster Senior League lads move up north as well. And I think it's a good exposure as well. It's something different that they're looking for. That's what I was looking for anyway. It's a lot more exposure, something different. You're not playing against the same faces you've been playing against the last 4 or 5 years. And to me personally, it's a challenge that hopefully it's a gamble at the end of the day, but hopefully it's a gamble that'll pay off me.
Have you had the opportunity to play in front of the fans at all yet, or was it already restricted?
No, it was already since I've started playing. It's only been like media and coaching staff and stuff that have been allowed in. I think before Christmas they had 600 fans allowed in, which is, again, that's nothing compared to what some of the crowds you see up there. Just on a normal Saturday. So hopefully, as soon as they go back in, it'll be unbelievable to play in front of.
Yeah, I've been hoping to get to a game up here for ages now, but every time I do, there's a new lockdown or something, so it's going to be a while. But what's that like for you in terms of signing for a new club and you haven't actually got to meet the supporters?
Yeah, it's it's weird. It's a really, really weird feeling. The whole match day experience, Kieran, is just it's not the same. I personally don't like it, but it has to be done. That's just the way it is. You know, you have lads in different changing rooms. You have to start 11 in one changing room, the subs in another. It's all over the place, but it is what it is. You just have to get on with it. And you know, the supporters I've got a few tweets from when I signed and stuff. But again, it's not the same. You want them in there and, you know, giving you abuse when you when you deserve it, and, you know, praising you when you deserve it as well. But the sooner they're back in, the better it's going to be.
And you're sitting sixth in the league table at the moment. Overall, how's the season going for you?
Yeah, like, speaking to the lads, they had a good run. We had I think it was eight games unbeaten before coming into January, and then obviously there was a COVID outbreak in the camp with us and in Larne as well. So there was a 2-week break from that, and then the league finished for 2 weeks just to kind of give it a bit of a break. So it's been tough trying to get, I don't know, fitness isn't an issue. I think it's more sharpness. Just trying to get that back into the legs is a bit tough. But now, look, we're fine. We've lost the last 2 games, but there was no point dwelling on that. You know, there's a lot of big games. We've Linfield on Saturday coming up now, so that's a massive game. And what better way to, you know, beat them and get another run going towards the end of the season.
Is that your first experience of coming up against Linfield?
Yeah, it's first. I think I only played, I think it was the Crusaders when I was about 14, 15. That would have been one of the biggest teams up north at that time, that age as well. When I was with Shells, that was the only time I played a team from up north.
So I'd say you're looking forward to that one. They're the marquee name really in the league, aren't they?
Yeah, of course, up there. Everyone knows who they are. You know, anyone that associates football in Northern Ireland, they always associate Linfield. I think obviously they have the most league titles and a lot of other things. But again, it's a big game, and it's just unfortunate there's going to be no crowd there.
I haven't done my research. Where is that game at the weekend?
Oh, it's in Ballymena. It's in the showgrounds.
All right. You'd be looking forward down the line, though, I'd say, to playing in Windsor Park as well. It's a brilliant stadium. Of course,
the stadiums are another thing as well. I know we were in Glentoran last night, and I walked onto the pitch, and obviously the game got called off, but just the facilities, it's seeing those kind of stadiums and knowing that they can be packed on away days and stuff is a good feeling. And again, just once the fans get back in, the better it'll be.
Do you feel the stadiums are above what we have in the League of Ireland?
Yeah, well, the first division, 100%. We played in Tala with the Shamrock Rovers B team, and you have stadiums like Galway and stuff. But no, I think they're just it looks a little bit better. I haven't played in the Premier Division, but I know the grounds obviously they're quite good, some of them as well. But I don't know, just there's a feel that there's more professionalism compared to the first division when you kind of go up north. But now again, some of the stadiums like Stradbrook and you have other places, you have Wexford that are obviously a little bit smaller. But now I think for me it's the difference between when you have fans in those grounds and the bigger grounds, it makes a massive difference. So yeah, I think they will be a little bit higher standard than the first division.
I suppose on the flip side, the issue in Northern Ireland, very strangely, the championship there hasn't been considered elite, so that looks like it's going to be scrapped for the season. And obviously the first division was concluded in the Republic, so it's strange the way things like that in different jurisdictions are working out.
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me. Like if we're considered elite athletes, then I'm not sure why they're not as well. It'd be kind of similar to down here, the Premier and the First Division. Both should be considered elite athletes, and it's the same with kids training and stuff. That's my own opinion, that they should be allowed back playing football. It's something to give them something to do, but again, it's not our decision, and that's just the way it is. Yeah,
it must be awful for those players that are in the second tier in Northern Ireland. Do you think we might see maybe some of those players filter down towards the League of Ireland as a result?
You never know. I know they're not that far off from what I've heard from the first division. So again, you could see it's like the Leinster Senior League lads. I was talking to Gary McCaffrey that played with Mottis. He went up to Glenavon, and it's a matter of playing football. It's not really. I don't think it matters the level you're playing at or what team you're playing. It's just playing football is the main thing, and you might see if fluctuation of lads from south going to north and north going to south, depending on where the football is going to be on.
Overall, though, you seem to be enjoying the experience up there.
Yeah, loving it. Absolutely loving it. It's the traveling was a bit of a pain at the start, but to me, it's just giving me something to do these days. I've absolutely nothing else on. I'm just sitting at home, so the 2-hour drive is kind of a getaway from the bad situation down here, and obviously training and playing football is a privilege to be able to do. So now I'm loving it, absolutely loving it.
Nothing else to do but crap interviews like this. So hopefully we passed hopefully we passed a bit of time for you, Conor. Brilliant speaking with you. Hopefully we'll get out to see you playing live at some stage. But until then, stay safe and best wishes going forward for the rest of the season.
Yeah, gentlemen, thanks very much.